Other? It'll have to be shared with another refuah. Refuah shleim. Pass your last razor. Okay. No?
Don't overexert yourself.
Okay. Today is Daf Samach Dalet. We're starting from Samach Gimel and Beis, 5 lines up. Tonar Rabbanan. Loichim, thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'hakohen yeh b'dvaroi. When you buy an egg, it's happened to me. You're in Europe, you're in a store, and the eggs look a little funny over there. They're not like the white eggs here. There's 4 options really. When you see an egg, you don't know what it is. It could be a kosher egg. It could be a treif egg from a treif. It could be a kosher egg that was removed from a dead kosher bird, an avela. So you have a chicken that died. After it died, they took out the eggs. That egg is usher only midrabanan. But worse than that could be a kosher bird, which was a treifa that had a hole in its lung, and the bird is treif, and the eggs that come out of that bird are usher midoraisa. So you're going to ask me, how do we eat eggs today? Maybe they come from birds that are treif. The answer is roiv. So now you're in a store of a guy, and you're buying eggs. Can you buy these eggs? In all places, in other words, even in places that have a lot of non-kosher birds, we're not choishish for a kosher bird that's an avela and its eggs would be the rabbanon, and not a treifa, a kosher bird that is a treifa that its eggs are the eraisa.
Why is the question only from a guy?
Because if it's a Jew, then of course you trust him.
How's a Jew know?
He's selling them. He's telling them. He's telling you.
How does he know that's a treif? How doesn't he know? Maybe how does he know that's a treif?
Oh, okay. If he knows for a fact that it's a treif, he's not going to sell it to you. And if he doesn't know, then there's a rive.
It's the bird's walking around.
Right. Treif is not Treif is not an issue really. The big problem is v'dilma da'if tamininu. Maybe it comes from a non-kosher bird. So Taisus kind of ruins it for us. Because yesterday we said that kosher birds outnumber the non-kosher birds by far. It's ein lem soif, says the Gemara. It's 24 non-kosher birds and ein soif for kosher birds. So, right. So that's what Taisus says. So l'chayr Taisus has a kasha. Why should I be concerned that maybe it's a treif bird? Treif birds are a miut. You hear Taisus kasha?
Yes.
We said yesterday that there's so many more kosher birds. Says Taisus that it's possible that in species the non-kosher bird is many more than the kosher. In species, because we said that there's 100 dayo. No, that was in the 700 fish and chagavim, but 100 of the dayo. So and that was only in the east. Who knows what there is in the west? So in terms of species, they're not talking about numbers here. Taisus is talking about species. Maybe the species of non-kosher outnumber the kosher. Omar Avuah de Shmuel. So Avuah de Shmuel comes up with a big chiddush, and he says, "Ba'omer shel oif ploini tahar." If a guy says that I know for a fact I'm selling you an egg, and it comes not only is it kosher, but he identifies the species that it comes from, then it's tar. What's the logic behind that? Because a guy is worried that you're going to catch him on his lie. So once he's very specific and he says it's from that bird, and that's something that you can find out, you can Google it, and you'll see that he's lying, he's not going to do it. V'leima shaloif tar. So why can't you just trust him? And when he says, "Oh, it's a kosher egg," don't worry about it. Because a guy could wiggle his way out of it.
So he's saying, the guy is saying that it's from a certain oif, or he's saying that the oif is tahar?
No, he's saying it's a specific oif. He's saying, I know that this comes from a pigeon. It's kosher because it comes from a pigeon.
He's just making a statement.
No, if he says tahar, a blank statement, then he's not worried to lie. Because they don't say, I meant it looks, it's this, it's that. How do you know it's a raven? Maybe it's a pigeon, maybe it's a this. But if he's very specific, he says this yellow egg, right, Moshe, when we go to Europe, there's all these weird eggs. You guys don't have it in England? Different colored eggs, small eggs, quail, in the regular makolet, they have all these funny eggs. And we weren't sure if it's kosher, not kosher. Huh? Chum, tzahov, komene, whatever. We're in funny places, like in, I don't know, in Russia, they have like these small, little, tiny eggs. Brown chicken eggs are brown chicken eggs. But there's smaller ones, very small, and they were saying that it comes from funny birds. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. They scared me. I was in China? Made in China birds.
Yeah. Very important.
But if a person Lilu Nishmas Chaim ben Yaakov, Rabbi Schoenberg's father, the Neshama should have an aliyah. So, but if a person comes into a store, a Jew comes into the store and he identifies the egg by himself. He says, I recognize this egg. Could he eat it? L'chari, yes. Shouldn't be a problem. The issue is when he doesn't know and he has to rely on the guy. So if the guy says it's a specific bird and it's kosher, then it's okay. Says the Gemara, "V'livdek b'simonim." An egg has certain signs, has certain simanim. So let him check the simanim. The sanya kisimani beitzim kach simani dogim. Just like a fish has simanim. What are the fish's simanim? A fish has snapper v'kaskeses scale. So too an egg. So I actually Googled it. Does a egg have scales? So I came up. I'm not. Sometimes weird stuff comes up when you Google. Here, I got a egg with a scale. You got this guy right here, the scale. Yeah, Fabergé. Akaponim, no. The point is, you got to be careful what you Google. Egg with scale. I did egg with scale, and that's what came out. Egg with a scale. Fine. Zok the Gemara. Simoni dogim sokadaitach. What do you think that an egg has a fin? It has a scale. Okay, so here, look at this. This was a little bit more difficult to Google. These are the fish eggs, otherwise known as caviar, roe, what?
Roe is fish,
Yeah.
it's caviar.
But the Gemara is saying that the shape of the roe, of the caviar, of the eggs, is similar to the shape of a kosher egg. As we're going to see soon in the Gemara, the kosher egg is rounder on the bottom and narrower on top. And some of these eggs look like that. Some of them don't really. This is a close-up. This is because to me they seem really, really circular. But over here, you look like this guy right over here looks a little bit like it.
But there's all kinds of eggs.
All kinds of eggs. This is salmon, I believe.
You're saying kosher caviar is
Not kosher, just the eggs of a fish. It says. I don't know. It doesn't. B'tanya beitzim gabi beitzim elu hein simone beitzim kol shekoideres val gulgoiles. In other words, says Rashi, this is one thing that it has to be round, not round like a wheel, but round like a ball. Okay, because you could have round like a wheel, but it's flat on the sides, right? Very flat on the side, just a circle going this way. And he's saying, no, koideres ve agulgoilas. It has to be round like a ball. But now, let's take that it has to be round like a ball, not literally like a ball. It has to be pulled out a little bit. Roisha echad kad, one of its ends is round. V'roisha echad chad, and the other end becomes narrower, tapers off. And therefore, it's tahira. That's a siman of an egg that's tahar. It's round, but it's not completely round like you see over here. It's kad is over here, chad over here. Now, shnei roshel kadin, if if both of its ends are round, basically a ball, oy shnei roshel chadin, or both its ends are tapered. Let's see, I have that picture of a snake, and I think his eggs, I don't know if it comes out so well. Even here you can see, this is shnei roshel chadin, right over here. It is, basically it's tapered on both ends. You don't have a nice bottom like a chicken egg. This one is in the middle, yeah. We're going to get there in a second. Says the Gemara, Shnei Roshel Chadim Tmeim. So therefore, that's a siman that it's Tomei. Chelboin. The chelboin is the white. Chelboin mibachutz. Like our eggs, that the white is on the outside. V'chelmoin mibifnim. Tahira. That's a siman of kashrus. Chelmoin mibachutz. V'chelmoin mibifnim. Tmeya. And if it's reversed, that the yolk is on the outside, the white is on the inside, Tamei. Chelmoin v'chelboin muravim zebazeh. And the Gemara is going to go into what this means. Whose is this? If you have, and they explain, there's a couple explanations. How do you have chelmoin v'chelboin muravim? You don't really have it in nature, but it means that there's a giant yolk, and anything needed from the white of an egg is already included in the yolk. B'yadua she beitzas hasheretz. Hasheretz, the shmona shrotzim, or the sheretz. What is a sheretz that lays eggs? Rashi says a lizard and a turtle. These are shrotzim from the shmona shrotzim, and they lay eggs. What did you say? A toad?
And a snail.
That's what Rashi says.
No,
Rashi says tzav valito. What is a tzav? I don't know. That's why I thought it's a turtle, unless it means something else. Okay. So what's the Gemara's kasha? The Gemara's kasha is a guy goes into the store and he wants to know if he's eating kosher eggs. Why does he need to rely on the guy? He could just look at the egg. Either he could look at the shape. He sees if it's circular on the bottom, narrow on top. It's a good kosher shape. He pops it open. If it has a yolk in the inside and the white on the outside, givaldik, he could eat it. So what's the problem? Says the Gemara, it's broken. The eggs are broken. He's buying ready-made, unbeaten eggs. They're already de-shelled, no shell. But he still has one siman. He could check to see if the yolk is in the inside. Bitrufa is bikara. It's already beaten up. Oh, that's a very good kasha. The Rishonim Mas, the Rash Mas the kasha. We just finished that you could trust the guy because he's scared you're going to be able to check him. You can be mivarit. But now, once it's beaten, there's nothing to check. So the Rashi says it's a bar kasha, but the Gemara has a better teretz, or whatever.
The restaurants get their eggs like that.
Yeah, but they have a hechsher.
Oh, do they? They have to have a hash.
Yeah.
It's a carton.
You can't trust the guy and say.
Eggs with the
We'll see in a second that you can't buy from a guy beaten eggs. That's what the Gemara is going to ask right now. B'chi hai gavno mi zavnina minayu. You buy an egg from a guy that's beaten vatanya. Ein moichrim beitzas treif aloy v'kechavim. There's two halachas there. You're not allowed to sell an egg that you know that is treif. You know the chicken got shot through its heart and its lungs, so it's a treif, and then it gave birth to an egg. So that is a treif egg. You can't sell it to a guy because a Jew can't eat it. The guy's going to turn around and sell it to a Jew maybe, so you can't sell it to him. Elohim kain trufa bekara, unless you beat the egg and you sold it to him like that, and therefore says the Bryce, leficho chain loichem em beitzim truvos bekara. So that's why, since the only way you're allowed to sell a treif egg to a guy is if you beat it, so therefore you're not allowed to buy a beat egg from a guy. So how do you even come to the situation where you're buying a beaten egg from a guy? Elomer Abzero Simonim Lav Diraisa. The Gemara's kasha is, why don't you just check the simonim? When you're buying from a guy, just check the egg simon. The answer is, it's not a good, you can't rely on a simon completely. It's not Mediraisa, it's not Halacha Mishum Sinai. A very, very stark raya. We had the other day that there are 8 birds that we don't know if they're kosher because they have 3 simani kashrus, but the gizzard doesn't peel well. You have to peel it with a knife. Is it kosher or not kosher? 8 birds? The Gemara says suffix. What's the problem? Look at its egg, pop it open, and you'll see kosher or not kosher in a
Two
second.
different statements. 8 birds, and then whether the gizzard peels with a knife or not. Is it
No, I think that was yeah.
8 of them?
I believe so. Minus the you're saying, I didn't check it, I didn't look it up, and I could forget very easily, but I think that's what we learned. Shmoynes live the bebeitzin to do. Elo shmamino simonim lav deraisa. So you see from that sugya that you cannot rely completely on a simon of an egg. Elo lemay hilchas uktanila. So then why do we even have these simonim? Right, I just want to go back. I wrote here on the side that if you buy an egg from a guy, you don't have to worry that maybe the egg is treif, right? We said all the way in the beginning of the sugya, you buy an egg from a guy, not to worry. Maybe it's treif, maybe it's nevela. Why not? Because you have a roiv. But if you buy a beaten egg from a guy, the only way he got it was because it's a very strange thing to buy a beaten egg. So then you have to be choishish that maybe it's not from the roiv. It's a miut that the reason why it's beaten because he bought it from a Jew that beat it before he sold it to him. Nachamal. If you're buying an egg, a regular egg from a guy, you don't have to worry about a treifa because most eggs are not treifa. But since we have halacha that
tells you oiftar. If it tells you simon, this oiftar.
well, no, let's say you recognize it. Let's say you recognize it.
If you recognize it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but maybe he just sold you a treif egg. Maybe he knows for a fact it's treif.
Why can't we
Or
rely on
like you're
Roy?
saying,
Roy.
fine, whatever. But we said that there's a concept of roiv. We're not worried about treifa, roiv. When it comes to beaten eggs, we don't have roiv anymore. Why not? When it comes to beaten eggs, you can't buy the beaten egg from him. Because maybe, what's the chashash? Maybe it's a treifa. And the reason is because it's very different. People usually don't sell beaten eggs. So now you have to be choishish that a Jew that had a treif, an egg, and he wasn't allowed to sell to the guy, he beat it in order to sell to the guy, and that's why the guy is selling you a weird kind of product called a beaten egg. And memela, you can't buy it because maybe it's treif, and do not rely on the roiv. So then why do we have simonim in an egg? Hachiko amar. Shnei rosheo kadin or shnei rosheo chadin. If it doesn't have the simoni kashrus.
You're right about that.
Yeah, thanks. If both of them, both sides of the egg are round, or both sides of the egg are tapered, the yolk is on the outside where the white is in the inside, the opposite of a kosher egg. So at least we have simonim for tumah. The simonim work great for tumah. Now, reishi chad. This is how you have to read it. I got confused when I first read it. I thought it was reishi chad. It's reishi chad if one of the heads is chad. It's a play on words here. One versus sharp. If one is sharp and reishi chad, and the other head is chad, is round, that's our simon of kosher eggs. And the yolk is in the inside and the white is on the outside. And then says the Gemara, you have a combination of a few things here. If you cannot rely on a guy, says the Gemara. If a guy tells you this egg is kosher, you have no idea, you've never seen this egg, don't rely on him. But if you have all the simonim, it's round on the bottom and tapered on the top, and the yolk is in the inside, not in the outside. And the guy tells you this is kosher, and I'm telling you what it comes from that blue bird in that place over there that's kosher, then you can rely on him. Taru smoichale bistama. If the guy doesn't tell you, for that you need a guy. Because if you look at an egg and you have all these simoni kashrus, simonim lav deiraisa. Simonim are not halacha mishum sinai. You cannot rely solely on a simon, and you can't rely solely on a guy. The combination of the two of the things together, that's where you come up with the kashrus. So if you walk to a grocery store in Europe, says the Gemara, and you see a funny looking egg, and you look at it and you say, wait a minute, I remember that if it looks something like this, it seems like it's kosher, and it has a yolk, the yellow's in the inside, it's kosher, maybe I can eat it. Says the Gemara, you can't, unless the owner of the store tells you, this is a kosher egg that comes from that bird. Now, halachically today, the Shulchan Aruch says, Taisus, let's peek in Taisus for a second.
Well, the only reason we said that we can rely on the guy is that you can check him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here now the Gemara is saying that you can't rely on him if he
See,
tells
many
you
more not
stop
enough,
because the
we're saying.
Orev is like a yena.
Wait a minute, we're getting there.
I think that's the end of the
Yeah.
line, right?
B'stama lo yitizmach lei. But if not, just a simple, without a goy, b'stama, without a goy, you can't, b'stama lo yitizmach lei, without the simanim, the iked, the urva, the domi l'diyoyna. Now, the Gemara says an interesting thing. You have, once in a while, not all crows, but sometimes a crow lays an egg which resembles the egg of a pigeon. So since there is a concept in the universe where there's an egg that's treif that looks similar to an egg that's kosher, so now all eggs, in all situations, we have to be choshesh that maybe it's coming from some sort of weird bird that's treif that has an egg that's similar to our kosher eggs, regardless of the size. You can't say, wait a minute, I'm buying a chicken egg, which is 3 times the size of a pigeon egg, so it can't be that it comes from a crow. You're right, it's not coming from a crow. But from the crow, you see the concept that there are treif birds that lay eggs sometimes that look like kosher eggs. All eggs that we don't know for sure that they came from kosher, not good. And if the guy tells us that it comes from kosher, then we can be samech on him, if it has the kashrus.
There's no roiv, no concept of roiv.
Where?
Roiv,
Majority of
roiv, the birds are kosher.
don't have kosher-looking eggs.
Roiv.
No, we said before that there's no roiv. Taisa says there's no roiv when it comes to kosher and non-kosher because there might be more minim of non-kosher than kosher. There's more birds, but not more minim. That was the first Taisa.
You would think there's only one min that has this size.
Right, but not this
Right.
of these eggs, this type of egg,
More
there's
eggs that are kosher.
row of kosher of this looking egg. You have that symbol.
I don't know what the roiv is. Who told you it's the roiv? It's 60 to 1.
The law says that nowadays we can rely on the fact that there's no non-kosher.
Oh, I'm getting there. That's Taisvis. Here, let's pick in Taisvis for a second. Taisvis, the last medium line. The last, where it gets wide? Right before it gets very, very wide, says Taisvis. And what we buy today from goyim eggs, they don't tell you every time you buy an egg from them, oh, it comes from this bird and it's tar. Today, most of the eggs on the market come from kosher eggs. And here, that's what you were saying. Yeah, he says roiv, but it is.
So today, the situation is that all the eggs in any shop.
In any shop. Even the quail eggs, even all those weird eggs in shop. In New York, I've seen it a few times in Chinese stores, Chinese specialties, they have these weird eggs.
China is a problem. The big problem is what's called egg powder. When you see ingredients, say you've got pasta which contains egg powder.
Right.
So, until recently you could rely on it that was egg powder coming from a chicken's egg, and you could, in theory, have it without a hechsher.
Yeah.
But however, nowadays a lot of most food products are coming from China, and eggs in China is
It's a big problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
They sell in restaurants, they sell ostrich eggs, and those are treif. As we're going to see at the end of the sugya. That's like a delicacy, like a huge.
People eat ostrich.
They wouldn't use that commercially for egg powder.
You want to see a picture of Asher? Look at this place, it's just very interesting. I found this fascinating. It's like a sort of a cracker, a cookie. You're buying a cracker from a guy without a hechsher, and it has eggs in it. So it's beaten eggs, and we said beaten eggs is not good. Not a big kasha. You're buying the egg itself. Why is he selling you a beat egg? But if it's in a product, of course he has to beat it, so there's no reyusa. Every cracker has a beaten egg in it. And that's the svara I was telling you before. That when a guy has a beaten egg, it's weird. Why is he selling you a ready-made egg in a bowl? He should sell you the whole egg. Mistami, he got it from a Jew that couldn't sell it to him as a whole because it's treifa. And then he says, So you don't buy from a guy. You can't buy the cracker from a guy. But it's interesting that they would go to a guy and eat his cookies, his crackers. They're not a problem. The eggs, not a problem. What are you going to put in it? A little flour? No, not a problem. Okay. What about that? Next.
So why the Gemara says before that you don't take trufot because you're afraid that it's treifel. Just shoot a coin.
No, trufos means just kacha im kapit.
אבל עדיין לא עשויות.
לא עשויות.
Is there any need of bit to barov? Is something very minute amount of eggs in it?
Probably. That's Rabbi Schoenberg. There's always a bit of.
Put there for taste, then it's...
Just put the binding and all.
No, see, that was the whole sugi. You missed the whole good sugi. In where was it? Zvachim Menachas somewhere.
There's an additional Chullin
No, maybe Avodah Zarah.
which is
Yeah.
far more serious.
Yeah.
Because what they found is that a lot of the egg powder is made from ovum eggs.
What?
What mix?
Ovum eggs. There's a big industry in ovum. Ovum eggs is the eggs which are inside the chicken when they're chucked. And
Nevelas.
The velas.
so they're nevelas, yeah? But
Oh, you're talking about without a shell. The eggs without a shell. Yeah.
So every chicken
21
got
eggs.
a batch of eggs in. And nowadays that's not, it doesn't go with the chicken. So that's used in commercial production of egg powder.
Really?
And it's trade.
They don't want it to go to waste.
Flashing, right?
Yeah.
So an egg ingredient
That's
is a
fishy.
very serious China.
So you shouldn't be kids, and it's a big problem to use those.
You have to use those.
But if it has a hechsher, it has a hechsher. I don't know. Okay, Zok the Gemara.
He's saying even if they checked it.
Omer Mar. Okay, we just learned, Rabbi, Chelboin v'chelmoin muravim zeh b'zeh. If you open an egg and it's one giant yolk, it's yellow. Kedua she beitzes hasheretz, and you know that it comes from one of the shmoyne shrotzim. If it's not kosher, it doesn't come from a kosher bird. So then, what difference does it make to us if the egg comes from a sheretz or it comes from a treif bird? They're both in the category of not kosher. So what's the difference? Omar Abukir Bachoma Loimar Shimrikmo v'nikvo b'chadasho metamo. Right? You hear Rabbi say? You guys are missing it over there. Okay, fine. The whole. It seems like that guy is giving shear. I'm also from over here. It looks like Avi's giving shear. Everybody's looking that way. It's like, what is going on? Just tell me. I'll.
It's a long table.
Okay. So what happened is we have an egg here that's mixed yolk and white, and it's all mixed up. Says the Gemara, it's a sheretz. Who cares if it's a sheretz or it's a tummy bird? The halach is by sheretz. A sheretz is metame, and that's tumah. A bird, if it's a kosher bird, is not metame unless you eat it, right? Metame v'gar. Beis abliya. A non-kosher bird, not metame at all. So we have an egg of a no, not the egg.
Or not the egg.
Yeah. So now we have an egg of a sheretz that somebody poked a tiny hole in it, the size of a hair. So basically, you could get to the inside of it. Because if Taisus says, if it's completely sealed with a shell, no tumah. The shell protects from the tumah, doesn't let the tumah escape. So if you poke a tiny hole in it, then the tumah could come out, and then it's tama b'chadasha, the size of a lentil. So that's why the Gemara says that if you find something that has a chelboin and a chelmoin, you should know it came from a sheretz and there's tumah from a sheretz. Because if it came from a tummy oif, there's no tumah in that egg. Maybe it came from a snake. Not like that Rashi, the famous Rashi, that snake gives birth after 7 years.
Snake is not a sheretz.
A snake is not a sheretz. A snake doesn't have tumah. It looks like a sheretz, it acts like a sheretz. It's not one of the shmoyne shrotzim. It's called a sheretz, but not of the shmoyne shrotzim. Says the Gemara, there's no tumah, elo marava, shimrikmo ba'chola. If the egg rikma is fertilized from a zachar va'achola, and you ate it, Loika leo mishum sheretz hasheretz al haaretz. Very interesting. There's two psukim. Sheretz hasheretz al haaretz, and there's sheretz ha'oif. Now, what is a chicken egg? What is a flying tome egg? A flying eagle egg? What is it? Is it a sheretz al haaretz or sheretz ha'oif? What is it? It's not a flying thing yet. And it's, what is it? So it says the Gemara that you get malchus for sheretz al haaretz, not for the oif, haaretz. And what's the nafkamina, says Rashi? In order to get malchus, you need asra. You need to wait and come say, do not eat that egg. It's sheretz al haaretz. What if they messed up and they thought it's a bird? So he said, don't eat it. It's a sheretz oif. The guy could eat it and not get malchus. Not he could eat it, but if he eats it, he doesn't get malchus. Big enough kamino. Zog the Gemara, if you're telling me that it's rikma, it's a fertilized egg, my ear yeditmeya, why are we talking about a not kosher bird? I feel nami, even if it's a kosher chicken, let's say. It's a fertilized egg of a chicken. It's a isur d'oraisa to eat the sanyo kol hasheretz al haaretz. Turn the page. The rabbi said, if included in the pasuk kol hasheretz, including a kosher bird that's not completely developed, that if you eat it, you're over on sheretz. Says the Gemara, not true. You're not over d'oraisa. Only midrabanan. Ukra asmachta ba'almo. And at the end of the day, it's an asmachta ba'almo. So, what do we have here? A bird that comes from an egg that comes from a, are we done with the sugya? Asmachta ba'almo. So basically we have four types of things. We have a egg that comes from a treif bird. That is sheretz d'oraisa. If you eat an egg from a sheretz, like a sheretz, like a lizard, sheretz, that's also d'oraisa. What about a sheretz that doesn't have fertilization? It's a sheretz, a lizard that laid an egg without the male. So if you look at the last line in Rashi, v'chilei rikma isura ika malchus leke, the lav sheretzu. But what kind of isur is it? The rabbanon d'oraisa. It's a d'oraisa. It's a d'oraisa, but it's not included in the sheretz d'oraisa, and therefore you don't get malchus.
What the rice is like?
From kol hayotzim min hasheretz is kesheretz, so you can't drink a sheretz milk. You can't eat an egg, but you're not eating a sheretz. It's derived from a sheretz. It's a d'oraisa. Now, what about a kosher egg?
How do we know there's no malchus on it? Why is there no malchus on it?
Because it's not sheretz. Malchus is on the sheretz.
And this is the Isser sheretz.
This is kol hayotzim min hasheretz. It's a different isur. And then we have a kosher bird that is fertilized, and you eat it, you're only over the rabbanon. That's what we just had now. Okay. Zog the Gemara, Ton Rabbanon. Gi'ulei beitzim mutaros. If a person, says Rashi, cooked eggs, he mixed the eggs that he's cooking, kosher and not kosher, so we're not worried that some of the not kosher egg seeped out of the shell and was absorbed by the kosher egg. That's not a problem. Mutaros. Beitzim muzaros. Now, an egg that's unfertilized, and the chicken sat on it, and it's a disgusting egg. It sat there for a very long time. What happens to an egg that, you didn't take it to the store, you didn't sell it, just sits there under the chicken for 3 weeks? No fertilization, nothing, just sits there. What happens to it? It becomes disgusting inside. Nefesh yafa toichlem, a person that doesn't care, he has no problem eating disgusting things, he's Chinese or whatever, he could eat it. Meaning, you could be medaik on the spot that if a person is a istanis and he eats it, he's over d'oraisa. About the shaksu. There's an issur to make yourself grossed out. You have to have a nefesh yafa. Ninsa leha koiredam. Now we're going. If the egg is fertilized and you find a little bit of blood, then zorik es hadam v'oichel sashar. That's what we do. We remove the blood spot, and we eat the rest of the egg. Omer Rabbi Yirmiyah, but that's not really what we do because we're not eating fertilized eggs. We're eating unfertilized eggs with a little bit of blood, so it's very different. Omer Rabbi Yirmiyah, it's much better.
Unless you get free range.
What is that? All sorts of eggs?
Could have been fertilized.
Who has free range eggs? Who sells that?
Organic.
Oh, organic. Okay.
Specialty.
Do not eat organic eggs.
You have to check it properly.
Free range. You want to find a little chicken there when one day you open it up?
You're going to check it.
They don't check it here in Israel. In America, it goes through these laser things and there's no blood. Over here, it's like.
No, I'm saying when you.
So how come you find a lot more blood here than there? You don't find that much blood here anymore? Oh, it's in the olden days.
I've been checking eggs for 30 years.
Yeah.
Every one of them, I've yet to find it.
Why? We found hundreds.
I wouldn't trust you to check that.
Yes, of course. Okay, you don't.
We get it from Knuba, things like that. I don't have it.
Okay.
Take out the blood, you're saying.
Zog the Gemara, yeah. We don't have that much time, Rabbi Isai. A very long daf. Let's finish it up. Zog the Gemara.
Only smoke company.
Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah nimtzal kesher shelo. Kesher shelo. Kesher is this guy right over here with the arrow. The kesher, you know the famous string that attaches. I never eat these strings. I always make sure to get rid of it. I'm a big mufonik. I'm not nefesh yafa. But now I realize why. If you look at Rashi, it's a disgusting thing. Vushinimtza adam al kesher shelo, says Rashi, hu zereh shel tarnagol. This is actually the sperm of the tarnagol. Hakosher b'reish hakachel beitzo. That's where it originates from. Umishom yitzir serefrech matchelas. V'kivin shadayinu shom lo nispaz b'shar beitzo. He didn't go through the whole thing. Good luck eating eggs today.
Eggs today don't have it.
So what is
All right,
what is
so-
this little bit? You do find
I've never
them.
seen that before.
You do find them sometimes.
Find them. Every egg has it. This kesher. So if the blood is in this kesher,
Do you eat a
then it says
hard-boiled egg?
Rashi.
How long do you eat a hard-boiled egg?
If you can't see it, it's okay. Whatever you can't see. If it's mixed in really, really well,
So scrambled eggs not a problem.
yeah.
But you don't usually.
But sometimes in a scrambled egg, it pops out through the yellow. Oh, that's the worst. Okay. Anyways, Rabbi Yisai, we only have a few minutes. Such a short daf. Like Menachem always says, I'm a big mumchen taking these small dafim. I was thinking about you today. It's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. We have to do 45 minutes of Torah. It doesn't matter how long the daf is. Okay. Anyways, I'll go on him.
This is the best thing there is, by the way.
What?
Stem cells. That is where.
This is where it comes from? Okay, so beautiful. Stem cells, this is where life originates from. And therefore, if the blood is in the stem, remove the stem and the rest is good. The rest is from the female, no problem. But if it's in the rest of the egg, that means it already started creating issues. It already started catching. The egg is starting to fertilize gishmak. Get rid of the whole thing. You can't eat it. Tani,
Hold on. Just have to take that piece out, and if it's
Yes.
not kesher, you have to throw it whole.
That's right. Lo yishanu, that it's kosher el shenim tzal chelben shelo. So Rashi says a tremendous chiddush. Al chelben shelo does not mean it's white like we were saying until now. Al chelben shelo means on the kesher. So according to Rashi, there is no difference. He didn't add anything. He's just repeating what we just said. On the kesher, on the rope, on that little string that we showed. But if you see it on the yellow, afilu beitza asura, the entire egg is asur. My taimo. The shada tichla bekula, it already ruined the whole thing. You should know, once it travels from the kesher to the rest of the egg, finished. The one saying it over in front of Abaye said it in reverse, and it's not true. He said that if you find it on the yellow, it's good, but if you find it the white, it's no good. Abaye did tartzen halehochi, and Abaye flipped it over and said, no, this is the proper way of saying it. Omar Chizkiah. How do you know that an egg that comes from a non-kosher bird is asur midoraisa shenemar vas bas hayana? Bas hayana is in Hebrew, and we all know it's an ostrich. Is an ostrich a bas hayana, or an ostrich is a yana?
No, but
And a bas hayana is the daughter of the ostrich. What is it? V'chi bas yeshlo liyano, can a ostrich have a daughter? No. Why can't an ostrich have a daughter? Because all she has is males. No. Because she only has eggs. And if she has eggs, it's not her daughter. A daughter is offspring from your body, but an egg, it doesn't. There's no such thing as basayana. All right? You don't have the son of a snake. It's an egg. The son of a chicken. It doesn't work like that. Says the Gemara. So Memela, what? When the Torah says basayana, the Torah is referring to these guys over here. These giant eggs. I actually was with my children in the zoo just a little while ago, and we saw a basayana deliver one of these, and then she turned around, cracked it open, and ate the whole thing.
She ate her own egg?
She ate her own egg. Maybe it wasn't fertilized, I don't know. Whatever the shot was.
Without checking it?
It depends on how many eggs.
There was a little checking going on, believe me.
If they would lay too many eggs, I think.
Oh, if they lay too many eggs. Here we have a semi-Australian South African guy. He knows. Zog the
I
Gemara.
was in an ostrich farm.
Oh, you're in an ostrich farm. Oh, that's the pshat. Okay, we got to talk about this because it really disturbed everybody. I'm serious. Why they're like, what are you doing? You're eating your own. That's crazy.
Gerbils also eat their babies.
Who told you? Maybe the name of this ostrich is Basayano. That's the name. Like Ben Moshe. Right? There's such a thing as that's a person's name. That my daughter is cruel. The name is Ye'enim without the bas. So what's bas? The egg. Veloy Ye'enim is the ostrich. Bas Ye'ena is the egg. Veloy v'oksiv esem mispid katanim. I am going to give a hesped like a tana. What's a tana? We have it here. Very pixelated, but the guys in the back will see it. All night long you could hear them here if you pay attention. The jackal. And the morning, like the daughters of the ostrich. Now, an egg can't mourn, so it can't be an egg. Says the Gemara, it's not referring to the egg mourning, it's referring to the mother mourning over its eggs. Apparently not that one in the zoo, but if you take they'll dwell, the daughters of the Yana, meaning, but again, an egg can't dwell. It's referring, the beginning of the pasuk is talking about that there are going to be animals in Yerushalayim, the Beis Hamikdash. So it's like the ostrich that dwells with its eggs. Again, Beitza basmei mashiroi techabdeni is going to give me cover. Going to say shira to me. How can an egg say shira to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Says the Gemara, Eloksiv hayano, ksiv basayano. Sometimes you're right. When the Torah says basayano, it doesn't always refer to an egg. Sometimes it's referring to the ostrich itself, and sometimes it's referring to an egg. V'shani ochad the pasuk sifra l'shtei tevos. Since the Torah separates it, I made the big mistake just last week. He told me his name is not Ben Moshe, one word, but sometimes it's separated. So since it's separated as two different words, so Mela it's referring to the Yana and the Basayana, the egg of the Yana. As the Gemara or the pasuk lu besifro betarti tevos shma mino trei shemis ninu. Every time it takes one word and divides it in two, it's two names. Elamaato as kedar laimer the pasuk lu sifro betrei hachanami the tarti shmei ninu. Now in our Torah kedar laimer is one word, but apparently you could split it in half. Kedar laimer, but obviously it's one name. It's not two names. Says the Gemara Amri. You're not allowed, you're not permitted to write Kedar on line number 3 and La'omer on line number 4. But over here you could. You could take the bas and put it on the end of a line, and yana in the beginning of the next line because it's two separate things. One is the egg, and one is the ostrich. Have a great day.